Okay.
What did you guys think?
A lot happened.
I know. It was giving me like the ending or towards the end, it was reminding me of the Nightingale a little bit with the whole kidnapping or being taken away and trying to get answers where people are at and all that stuff, hiding the other people in the house and all that stuff.
I had 9 minutes left, so
Oh,
I basically finished, but I still had a tiny bit left. Yeah, a lot happened in this last few chapters, but I really like the book a lot.
it's I feel like Julie may have mentioned this previously. Like, how does the author come out with all these ideas and all these like concepts, and they're all intertwined, but it works. And I'm like kind of
Well,
amazed.
I think I have, so I looked at her Wikipedia again,
Yeah.
and she basically her cousin
Uh-huh.
was basically the president, like that president character. And then Chile had, a military junta and had Pinochet came to power, and she had a son named Nicolas and her husband's name was Miguel. I started noticing all these things. So
Huh.
I think some of it was inspired by herself in her own life, I
Hmm.
think, and her country and Chile and all that. So maybe that's just why it felt I don't know. Still you have to weave it all together into a
Yeah.
a good story, but it seems like a lot of it was based on her experiences.
Yeah, because it's how do you come up with this? It
That's
must
what
be
I'm
based on
saying.
something.
Especially because it's like, so towards the end, they were talking about Esteban Garcia. And like I know it's Esteban Trueba Garcia, the man, the grandpa, the older guy. But then I was getting confused and I was like, how does she not get confused? Like, I mean, they have the same last name, but they she mentions one as Trueba and the other one as Garcia. But I'm like, I don't know. So I feel like what you're saying that maybe she's basing it off of personal stuff. It's easy to just kind of mesh it. It just seems it's a lot. A lot has happened and I would not be able to. Like, how do you even, yeah, it's crazy.
And then at the end, they were kind of talking about how the grandpa and her pieced together the story. And I think that's why it kind of reads more like short stories because it was kind of like organized by event
Yeah,
and not really chronological, but she had
yeah.
to kind of piece it together.
And it's like I because it says it begins like this and they start the story like the last line. I went back to the beginning of the book and the book starts like that and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like that's kind of cool." And it's kind of crazy to see that all this technically is like what Clara was writing in her books. Although it's not necessarily like in Dracula where they were entries of a journal or something. Like it was actually spread out like a story.
The ending where like well again, I haven't fully finished it,
Yeah.
but the last chapter where like she and the like well the whole chapter also with is with Esteban and Transito. It was so crazy to like feel sympathy for this character
Mhm.
considering how he'd been like the whole book. So I think it was really a testament to the author where you really did like feel bad for him and you kind of wanted him to have, to not just waste his life away in the end and reconnect with his granddaughter. So I think it's pretty hard to make you sympathize with that character in the end, considering everything he did and that he kind of brought a lot of it on himself.
Mhm.
But that was very powerful, I think.
Yeah, I listened to that section and the the reader did pretty good. Sounded so super passionate. And I'm just like, whoa, my gosh. And I get it because
Yeah, like
he's really
fast.
like, yeah, like you really put yourself in that position. You're like, this is all I want. Like, just help me find her. And I'm like, oh, she
And
kind
I
of,
love how he forgave, like he accepted Miguel, unlike Pedro Tercero. He actually like learned from his mistakes a little bit.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a he was a tough character, but you can see that he changed. But it's like, I mean, I don't want to be all cliche and say like, well, karma, But what was it? The sister did say this is how you're gonna die, and this is I think they were mentioning like he was getting short, like his soul or something. I don't know. Um, which I mean, he did it to himself, but it was kind of nice to see that he didn't stay bitter and was actually trying to help out his granddaughter, part of his family.
I felt for when Jaime died too, even though he had his, you know, weird incest side thing. But I did actually like his character a lot. And when he died, I was sad. But it felt very like of the like very true to what would have happened to him. So
Mhm.
and also the kind of person he was where he just was kind of like it'll all be fine. You know, he just showed up. He wasn't suspicious. He like, like cuz he always kind of seemed like the character who thought that like everything would just work out, if he just like did the right thing.
Mhm.
How like Pedro Tercero hid and Miguel like went, with the guerrillas but Jaime was like, no, I'll just like go and it'll be fine. But he was brave in the end and he stood up for his beliefs even with all of that. So
Yeah, we never heard about Nicolas.
yeah, what happened with
I think when they were mentioning Jaime's death, I think Treba somehow the way he said it, it's like he was basically saying like he's dead. But is he really dead or is he dead to him? I don't know. We don't know anything. Or anything else was no, not mentioned.
yeah, it's like the hanging thread of the book. Like every
Yeah.
single other character, like we found out what happened to them and not him. Also kind of an interesting thing where there's like twins in a book and then only one of them really matters. I feel like that never happens in a book.
I forgot they were twins.
Yeah.
What? That's true. Huh. I feel like they kept mentioning them together until what's her name? Amanda came in, and then they kind of just went their separate ways.
I thought Alba also changed a lot as a character, which was cool to see. I liked that she wasn't just like the same person. Like she grew and she changed and her beliefs changed. And I thought that was because honestly, Blanca to me was kind of like her character was a little bit not that interesting. In the end, she didn't really have, I mean, I think it's almost like a like middle child syndrome, even though she was middle character syndrome. I don't know. Like I thought Clara was really interesting. I thought Alba ended up being pretty interesting, but Blanca in the end was kind of like, but like yeah, it was nice to see Alba get like a really strong arc and like her connection with her grandpa, and I thought it ended up paying off.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned before that, and again, I might need to watch that movie again, which was not a very like this book was so much better than that movie. But I think they really did, like there was no Alba. I think it was like just Blanca, and Blanca got Alba's storyline, and Pedro Tercero too. So I think in the movie it was just Blanca like doing everything. Um, which I guess could make sense because Blanca in the book is kind of like eh,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, she's just there. She's just there to be in love with Pedro Tercero and be um Alba's mom.
yeah, like in the
Right.
end, she realized she loved him and they got their happy ending, but she just wasn't the most interesting character in the end.
And I thought that was gonna be Alba, and I'm glad it wasn't. Because it seemed like she
Hmm.
was just very like Miguel, Miguel, Miguel. But then she was also helping and contributing, and then like, she was the main person that brought it all together in a circle. So I'm like, okay, it wasn't just like I love Miguel. Because I think they even mentioned they're like, you're just a girl in love. I'm like, yeah, she is, but she's actually trying to make some change.
Yeah, things did affect her in the end, which is good storytelling where it wasn't just like it was the situation too, and like seeing the reality of things like beyond just her love for Miguel. She like started to actually believe in things, and I thought it was done very deliberate. Like it didn't feel rushed. It just felt very like it built toward it in a
Mhm.
good way. So same with this with Esteban, honestly. Like he really held on to his things for a really long time, which I think was realistic because especially like a stubborn old man like that isn't going to change easily. It literally took like a horrible military dictatorship
Yeah.
for him to finally like realize what was important. But he did in the end, which was good. But yeah, I really liked the characters. I liked the storytelling. I liked the historical part, like the fact that like now it makes me want to learn more about what happened because it just felt very real, like real the way she
Mhm.
was describing it. And now we know like it was probably because it was based on what happened. But I just like there were so many elements in this book that had to be balanced for it to work, and I feel like it really did. Like it really kept you interested the whole time, even as the tone of the book seemed to shift.
Mhm.
I felt like the ending quarter, or even the last chapter of last section, like so much happened that I don't know, maybe they could have s- made that like longer so it didn't go as fast, but then it was kind of sad, so I was kind of happy it did go that fast.
Yeah, the whole I think we find out that she's pregnant, right? Because she says she has a kid. She has
Oh yeah, was that real or metaphorical?
I don't
Like
know.
the baby in my womb, but
Yeah. Because then she mentioned the whole like she went deep saying like, "Oh, my grandfather um raped Pancha, who's the grandmother of Esteban Garcia, and then how then later, it happened to her, and now she's saying maybe it's gonna happen to my grandson or something like that. Like she was going pretty much saying it happened back then, it happened to me, it's gonna happen to my future. And then she was talking about a womb, and I'm like, wait, so is she pregnant? But I think that part kind of went by quick, and I'm like, huh, but I don't know. Is it real?
yeah, I don't know if Paula got to that part.
I didn't get there yet.
Yeah. No, it's like literally like I'm rereading it just because I'm like, wait, did it say? Because I heard
Because
it.
she was like, I don't know if it's Esteban Garcia's or Miguel. So she
Hmm.
probably is, but I was kind of like, is that real or metaphorical?
Hmm. I was trying to go back and remember the books we read this year,
Hmm.
and I'm having trouble remembering which one we started with.
Um, I believe it was a Nightingale. I stacked them up over here. The ones I actually have are here. The other ones I had them on my Kindle. And I
Okay,
believe the Nightingale was. I'll go back to the.
because I have The Nightingale, Winter's Promise, Anita de Monte, The Maid, Funny Story,
Mhm.
A Little Life,
Yeah.
Dracula, didn't finish that, and this one. Was that everything?
A
Did I-
Little Princess and
Oh yeah,
Crying
that
in
one.
H Mart.
Oh yeah, and I didn't finish Crying in H Mart either. I had an hour left.
Yeah, I didn't finish that one either. And I was, I forgot that that was this year. And I don't know if I just wasn't as into it. I don't know what happened there. I didn't finish it either. I was like, okay. Or like I tried to speed through and it just didn't work out. But yeah, The Nightingale was our first one.
Yeah, if I'm looking at all of the books we read, I do think this was my favorite actually.
I think I'm gonna go with The Nightingale. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Similar in some ways to this book.
Yes, yes.
I know I've been seeing people doing their Goodreads, like their top 5 books or whatever, and I was thinking we should do that
Yeah.
of the ones we read this year.
Yeah.
I really liked The Nightingale, and I think about that a lot, like
Yes.
different parts of it.
I like the Anita one and Funny Story were good. They were good, but not to be like you said, I'm gonna think about this book and this is gonna be a book that I'm gonna be like, wow, I'm gonna reference it. I'm
Because
gonna
yeah,
recommend
like
it
in The Nightingale, wasn't she hiding people in the closet or something?
in
Was
the
that The Nightingale?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that with the way Alba was hiding people in the rooms.
and then it's like in the own house where like the what was the guy who was a sergeant or like where you're not gonna think of going for. So that was a parallel that I was like, oh wow, they're not gonna think to go there because he's there, but then they end up going and
I think I liked The Maid a lot too. It's just like a nice, like cute read. Like a perfect cute, like light read with like a fun character.
Mhm.
So I think I'd put that one also up there for me. Those were like my two. I liked The Nightingale also, but I felt like parts of it I didn't quite work for me, but I did like it. And there's like a lot of historical like context to it similar to this one that was really interesting. And it had like, strong characters too. And I'm looking at my least favorite, and I think everybody's gonna agree with me, which was A Winter's Promise.
Yes, that one was
That
such
one was
a
so
disappointment.
disappointing.
Such a disappointment. Like it just sounded so good, and then it
Mm-hmm.
just wasn't. Like I can't believe there's like so many more books on that series. Like how? And who's giving it a
Yeah.
four? Like that's
Yeah,
like
I
really sad.
can't believe that like was such a flop. Like it seemed like it was going to be so good. I want to read like the synopsis that we read, but like actually done well.
It's just I feel like that's a story where a lot happened, but it didn't
Nothing mattered.
yes, it didn't come together. It was just there just to say words and like it was long for no reason. Like, like why was it so long? Like I think the long like this one was long, but like because there was so much going on and there's actually, like characters started off as something and then they actually grew and we got to know them very well. And I feel like these were just what really happened there. And A Little Life, it was really long because I mean a lot happened and it was just so sad and oh God, I mean it was through so many years and
Yeah, it's hard to say you would enjoy it because it was so sad.
yeah, yeah, I wouldn't say
Yeah,
that
it's almost
either.
like I wish I could unread that. But
You can
again, like it
admire it,
wasn't
but
the
it
word.
wasn't
Yeah. It
enjoyable.
was tough. It was tough.
Yeah, yeah. And
I like Dracula a lot too.
Yeah, I was gonna say Dracula was good. A Little Princess I had not read previously and I liked. So I'm like, I wonder how it would have been different if I had read it when I was younger and then rereading it. Because for me, it's
Yeah, it's a. I didn't end up reading that month, but I did love it as a kid, and I love the movie. Watch the movie. The movie's so cute.
I saw it. It was cute. It was really cute.
Yeah.
The colors, I think there was a little green dresses. I was like, oh, I love that color green. So pretty. It was really nice.
Yeah, very like magical.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Funny Story was good, but it wasn't like, oh my God, amazing.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah. Anita de Monte, that was good, but I wouldn't be like, I gave it a 5 on Goodreads.
There were things I liked about like there were some storylines I liked more than others.
Yeah.
I
It
don't
was,
think there was any book I like did not like though, except for
except for,
A Winter's Promise.
yeah.
Everything else had things about them that like were that I liked or
Yeah. And the Anita de Monte was kind of cool because while I was in New York, I actually saw the super famous one that's like um her her art. The one that's like on the floor and it's like her body. And I was like, that was so cool because I'm like, I know who the artist is. I know what this is. Like, I thought it was pretty cool.
oh, so it's based on a real piece.
Yes, it is based on a real artist. But I don't know if you guys remember, there's this whole like, because I don't think her name was Anita. It was some, or maybe it was, but there was this whole like, the family didn't give permission and they weren't happy. Like, a lot of like controversy, like, you shouldn't have done that. And because it is fiction, but it did a lot of like, real stuff that actually happened.
Oh, like the artist family was mad at the author?
Well, the artist died. So, like remember how she died and
Yeah,
apparently
yeah.
she was like that whole story kind of potentially happened in real life. But then they were saying like certain things weren't true, and that's where like the artist's family were not happy that this author took the story and did it her way. Like
Oh,
basically using a lot of real events and then make creating this story.
that's
And
interesting.
in a way making, yeah. Okay, so the artist was Ana Mendieta, which, come on, it's not very different from Anita de Monte.
No.
Yeah, yeah. And it was a lot like, here's I'll show you guys put the brightness down. But it's the part where it's literally, I think it was Cuban, and like the same year that she died, like everything, I wouldn't say like to a T kind of sounds like it's her story. And I was walking around the Met, and then I see the name and it says Ana Mendieta, and I was like, what? And then I turn around, and then it's like on the floor, and I was like, oh my gosh, I know about that. You can see it, maybe. So
That's
remember
so
how,
crazy.
yeah, how she was saying like, oh, she would put herself full of mud or with blood, and like that was the art that she was creating, or the photography or the sculptures and stuff. Like, this is a real artist that did that. So
Wow.
yeah, that's the part where I'm like, oh my God, I like that book. Um, it was cool, but I think I like The Nightingale a little more.
Which one was your least favorite, Julie?
Yeah, I think Winter's Promise, which is sad because I feel like on paper it sounded good, but I don't know. I feel a way about A Little Life. I think I'm still processing.
Yeah, that one is
Uh,
hard to put in.
Funny story, yeah, not memorable. I can hardly remember. Um, Crying in H Mart, that was kind of sad, but I liked it. Maid was good. What did we read in December last year? Did we have a December?
Was
last
it
year.
the Of Women and Salt?
Yes.
I see that.
I didn't
Okay.
finish that one either.
Yeah, I can't remember that one.
That was the one that had different like vignettes, right? Like different stories.
Yeah.
Oh, the girl, yeah.
Yes, and it focused
And
on
the one, the
women.
ex was the drug person.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. That one's like, I don't know, that one was weird. That one I think kind of goes with the Winter's Promise where it sounded so good and then it was all right. I was like, eh.
Yeah, I was trouble. I couldn't get into it, and then I didn't
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah, like if I think I remember I tried to read that before book club and I just got to the first chapter and I couldn't. Like I just couldn't finish it. And then, I mean, I read it for book club, but that was like my only motivation to finish it. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. And it's still like it wasn't great. So,
Well, I think we ended strong.
yeah.
Good one, and we started strong.
I was gonna say we started really strong and we ended really strong. There was some flops here and there, but not too bad. Flops being February, Winter's
I
Promise.
think we have a lot of female authors too. I don't know if that's different than any other year, but
Yeah, we did.
other than Bram Stoker.
Yeah. Is Francis a guy or a girl? Francis.
Oh, a girl, I think, for Little Princess. I think a woman.
Then yeah, except for Dracula, they were all girls. Nice.
2024, the year of the female author in book club.
Yeah, previous years we've done also mostly girls, but a few males.
Because every other year
Yeah.
we've had a Stephen King, I think.
I think so,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, I'm sad we didn't have one. We'll have to have one this year.
Yeah. What was
Yeah,
it? Oh, it was Dracula.
I liked the current book, but I'm like on the fence about recommending it because I'm not sure if my friend would like it. Like, how would you describe it? A generational book?
Yeah, like
Kind of historical, some magical realism, stuff about family.
3 generations, 4 generations? Honestly, there's a lot of generations. So multiple
Mhm.
generations, historical.
And are they from Chile?
I don't know if they ever said that, but I think it's definitely based on
I was gonna
Chile.
say, yeah, I think they never really truly mentioned it.
The Latin, or is it South American country or
Yeah.
Latin America?
Yeah, it definitely seems like it's inspired by Chile, though. I'm gonna look right now, actually, if it says. House of the Spirits. Chile. Yeah. Though the country's
Okay.
name and the names of figures closely paralleling historical ones, such as the candidate is supposed to be after Salvador Allende, which is her cousin, and the poet is supposed to be Pablo Neruda. So yeah, it's supposed to be set in Chile, although they don't say that.
I was gonna say that was one of the things that was interesting. They kept saying the poet, and I was like, why don't they just say his name? That makes sense.
It's so like it's so crazy that there's like she had a direct connection to the president. So
And I was looking over the beginning of the book, and she puts a quote of Pablo Neruda. How long does a man spend dying? What does it mean to say forever? Wow. I feel like this is kind of, in a way, a tragic story.
Wow, it's the same. It says that he Allende died by suicide, but the exact circumstances of his death are still disputed during the coup. It's like exactly what happened. That's crazy.
Huh.
And he was the first Marxist to be elected president in a democracy in Latin America. And he was only president for 3 years before the coup. Now I'm gonna go on a Wikipedia purge now, or not purge,
I
but like
was
a
gonna
Wikipedia bit bender. I meant bender, like a bender now.
Yeah, now
Read
that
all these
well,
people.
you almost finished.
Yeah,
I was like you, pal. I like just finished the last 10 minutes.
That was me before getting here. I had just finished I sped it up a little so I feel like the passion for Trueba was really there, like even stronger, but it was still like really good. That's wild. Now I do want to read more about all these connections, which kind of reminds me of like Daisy Jones and the Six. You know how when we read that book, or at least when I read that book, I was trying to figure out who was who in the story, if they actually um were inspired by like Fleetwood Mac and Stevie Nicks, and I'm like, what's going on? And I feel like now I'm gonna do the same as you, Paola. Like just go and be like, wait, what happened? Who's this? Who's what? Did he really? All the conspiracy, the mystery death. There you go. Wow. What would you guys rate it?
I would give it like a 4.8. I really liked it.
Ooh, that's super high.
I think I'll do 4.5. There were moments where I'm like, it was interesting, but it took a minute to try and start the chapter. And then when I was reading, I was like, oh, why didn't I just start earlier? And I really like
Yeah.
that every chapter had a little, like, it was titled and it actually went perfectly with the chapter.
Yeah, that was good. Yeah, I think I'd give it like a 4.3. I really liked it. It was a little long. I don't know. I guess I'm just like, would I 100% be like, oh, you have to read this?
Yeah.
No, but I liked it. I'd recommend it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it seems like our group liked it a lot, but I'm like, would everyone like this? I don't know.
Yeah. I think the length is one thing. There's a lot for each character and a lot happening that I feel like if I recommended it to someone, if they were super busy, I think they maybe not finish it because of the length.
It's kind of like a slow burn. Like,
Yes.
there's not like a huge climax. Well, there's
Yeah.
kind of like a lot of big events. Uh, yeah, like a lot happened to this family.
Yeah, and I think for that reason,
And
it's kind of slow.
yeah, and maybe it's like less emotional. Like maybe we're less attached to the characters because like I think she did good character development, but then like we said, some of them just leave or they died. So Like compared to like Nightingale, where you get like really attached to the characters. Maybe that's why I like that one more. I don't know.
I just realized there's some questions here for the book club, like a book club topics for discussion. And I like this one that says Allende closes the book exploring the concept of cycles and how they can be changed and broken. Do you believe Alva's resolution can change the trajectory of Trueba family? Do you think she can break that chain she was talking about?
I mean, she kind of said like if she has Esteban's baby, like
It kind of felt like she was saying, it happened back then, it happened to me, it's going to continue to happen. But I also feel like I think she's like strong enough to, let's say it is his baby, like maybe she can try and stop that cycle. I feel like she can.
I wonder if she'll ever reconnect with Miguel.
It's hard for me to say since I didn't finish.
Yeah. Oh, then it's another one saying Allende manages to reveal the fate of many characters long before it plays out in the book. How did knowing the fate of the characters ahead of time affect your reading process? Did those moments still surprise you when they were fully explored?
Oh yeah, that was really interesting. I like how she did that because then it kind of I'd pay attention and tried to remember, but it was usually much later when that came true. But I think with the Patron, like there were so many times I thought, oh, he's gonna die, but then I'm like, no, because they said he's like a 90-year-old man,
Yeah, in the
like, and he's
beginning,
narrating. Yeah.
he's like, everyone has died. And I think when it, for Jaime, they kept saying that was the last time he talked to her. And I'm like, does that mean Alba ends up dead, or is it him? And then I feel like it kind of helped to keep me intrigued and try to focus more. But when it happened earlier on, I was kind of like, yeah. So I guess it went 50-50. Like it kept me interested, but then other times I would just be like, well, it happened. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think sometimes I would like hope that they were wrong. Like that it was like so I was like, "Oh, did I remember that?" Like with Jaime, I think she said that he was gonna die, and then I was kind of like, "Oh yeah," I like kind of forgot about it. Then I was like, "Oh no, he is gonna die! Damn it!"
Mm. Hmm. That's interesting. This one says, Pedro III and Blanca share one of the most intimate love stories, overcoming long distance, disapproval of Blanca's father, and the long sprawl of time. Yet when Pedro offers to be with Blanca time and time again, she refuses. Why does Blanca refuse Pedro?
Was it just she didn't have her father's like blessing?
I just feel like I don't know how to say. I feel like maybe I don't know, like maybe she didn't truly trust that he was gonna stick around, even though he kept saying. And because I think there was one moment, the second to last time before he actually left, where I think it was saying that he was with other girls or whatever. But then I'm also like, Blanca maybe never truly believed what he said, or like the part where he left, and she was like, ah, he's not gonna leave. He's always around. So I don't know. I feel like she's kind of She just feels like he's always gonna be around. Like, why make it official? Why say I'm with him if he's always gonna be there, with all the time?
Yeah, she kept saying it's better to have a dead father than an absent father, but I'm like, I feel like he would not have been absent. Like, I feel like he would have been a good dad. I don't know.
I think she just didn't want to have to change her life.
Hmm.
She was comfortable where she was.
That's true. Because they had money and he didn't. But then
Hmm.
at some point they didn't, right? Like they were,
During the Marxist government, they
yeah.
weren't doing so well, but then they said that he got all his money back.
Hmm. Yeah, it's really cool. Really cool story. There's a lot more questions, but I'm not gonna go through all of them. There's like 15. It's really, really nice story. Some magic, but not too much. Some politics, some romance, some family issues.
On the Wikipedia, it said that in 2018, it was announced that there was going to be a Hulu adaptation, and in 2021, Eva Longoria was going to star. But there's not been anything. That seems weird to me too. But there's not been anything on it since, so I don't know if it's happening.
Oh.
But yeah, you guys could watch the 1993 movie, but I don't think you guys will like it because it's just like not good.
Got it.
And it's weird because they're all white. It's so weird.
Maybe I'll look into it.
Like, I totally see why this was banned from, I don't think it was like universally banned, but
Mm-hmm.
like there's a lot of elements I can see why it was banned, but also like I don't know, it's such a good book for like like some of those questions you asked like from the prompts. I'm like, this would be great. You could write like a whole essay on
Yeah, you can.
so
This,
much discussion and history and
hmm I wonder, because this was written in Spanish, I feel like some words or some phrases come off stronger in Spanish than in English. But if they're reading the translated version, like I don't know, because I feel like Spanish sounds really aggressive. Like if I read all this stuff that she's saying, I think it'd be kind of like, oh my God, you should not be reading that. Um, Not to say that English masks all the bad stuff, but I don't know. I feel like in the beginning, it started with a little bit about the religion, and I was like, oh yeah, that was intense. And then the rape stuff and possible incest, that was a little too much. But I don't know, maybe not fully ban it, but more like set limits of age-wise, who can read this. The
yeah,
politics.
because like it's historical and this
Yeah, yeah.
stuff like really happened. So
And that's what I'm saying. Like, you're gonna learn about history. You can't not learn about it. Like, it is what it is, and it happened. So, knowing that it is based on something that happened in real life, I'm like, you can learn from it. And I don't think it was super detailed with like a little life. That one was detailed.
Which one was?
A Little Life.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one was like, I don't know, I feel like you could truly, I don't know, imagine everything that was happening. And this, it's like when they were with their lovers, it wasn't that like they're like, oh yeah, they're out there and yeah, the rape, but it wasn't just, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't truly descriptive where I think you could read it and then just be like, wait, did that happen? You know? It's not fully there for people, but I don't know. I guess the cutting fingers part. I'm just kidding. That was intense. Yeah, good book. I'll send the new books. Um, everyone started sending them today. Yay. So I'll send that survey soon and then we can vote and start our new book.
Yay.
Let's see. Yeah, so I'll do that right now because I think everyone sent me a book. I only had 2 books and then now I have like 5 or 6. So I'll do that right now. Okay. Have a good night and a good rest of your week and Happy New Year!
Yeah, have a
Happy
good
New
rest of your
Year.
year.
2025. I know.
Bye.
Insane. Insane.
Mhm.
I'll
Wow.
be looking for your pics to post on Instagram.
Did it tell you guys my cousin decided to get married New Year's Eve? Like
No,
Wow.
that's
like
fun.
3 weeks ago, they just told us, we're just gonna do like a little courthouse wedding and just to have a New Year's Eve party to celebrate our wedding. And I was like, okay, I mean, sure, it's a party, why not? We're already gonna be together. So I'm like, okay.
That's cool.
Yeah. And then it's like, I don't know, I feel
So
like
fun.
it was very spontaneous. They're still gonna get married like full wedding in Puerto Vallarta in 2026, they say. But it's kind of nice that they're like, well, let's just all celebrate the new year and let's start the new year as like a married couple. I'm like, oh, cool. So it's exciting. Are you guys doing anything?
Not really. Yep.
Yeah, I usually don't. But I'll see you guys next week. Have a good night.
Good night.
Good
Bye.
night.
Bye.